So, last time I had mentioned Sauron entering the fray. Now, I think I'd wrongfully said I wasn't sure if Sauron was mentioned yet in the Silmarillion, so I want to retract that because I do believe it mentioned him briefly when the Edain first were coming on the scene. Morgoth went out there to try to corrupt them or or see what he could meddle with over there, but he didn't see much strength in them and their numbers weren't very big and all that, and the war in the north was more on his mind, so he went back. But I'm pretty sure you had mentioned he left Sauron in charge, so Sauron was mentioned. Sorry, I forgot about that. And so now it's still talking about Sauron and his Isle of Werewolves and how the orcs are basically getting bolder and going farther and farther into Beleriand, and they had encompassed Doriath, and they harried the lands. And it says many of the Noldor and the Sindar they took captive and led them to Angband and made them thralls, forcing them to use their skill and their knowledge in the service of Morgoth. And Morgoth sent out his spies, and they were clad in false forms, and deceit was in their speech, so he had all sorts of trickery going out of there. And promises of reward and cunning words, and accusing kings and chieftains of greed and treachery. And because of the kinslaying at Alquilonde, these lies were often believed, and indeed, at the time darkened, as the times darkened, they had a measure of truth. For the hearts and minds of the elves had become clouded with despair and fear. But ever the Noldor feared more the treachery of their own kin, who had been thralls in Angband, because Morgoth had used some of these for his evil purposes, and feigning to give them liberty, sent them abroad. But their wills were chained to his, and they strayed only to come back to him again. Therefore, if any of his captives escaped in truth and returned to their own people, they had little welcome and wandered alone, outlawed and desperate. So, Morgoth had some ability to get into their heads so that they were never truly free of him, I guess. So even if probably he might have released them or they might have thought they escaped, but basically they were still doing his dirty work. So Morgoth is really bad guy. So anyway, Stephen Colbert. I want to talk about Silmarillion, Tolkien, and Middle Earth. This is my bucket list thing. I want to have a conversation with you, please. So hit me up. Thank you.